Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today's video is gonna be a little different. Firstly, it's gonna be to explain why I haven't been posting videos. So to get to know, ever since I started my channel, I've been so consistent with my uploads, but the past few weeks I have not been consistent. Another thing is for people that have been sending me DMs on Instagram, on Facebook, because I haven't replied anything for a week now, if not weeks. That is because I've been dealing with sick babies. If you guys have been watching my channel, you know that my babies have been they've been sick on and off because of the cold. I have been sick on and on because it's very cold in Botswana. It's winter and our house is very cold. You guys know that we don't have an air conditioner, the heater that is good. If we buy an outside heater, it makes us even more sick. So my babies have not been adjusting well to the weather because they've been like sick of the cold. And then you guys know that I don't share the hospital stuff when I take my babies to the doctor, when I share everything like that. I don't share that on my channel. That is because I feel like it's confidential information for the boys. I feel like this channel is about me, it's not about them, but I can show them when like I feel like I can share them, they won't mind. But if it's something that is very confidential, I don't share it because I just want to respect them, and just in case in the future they're like, Mama, why did you share our doctor's appointments and stuff? But today I feel like this one needs to be explained as to why I've been away and why has been going on. So fast forward to end of July, because you guys know that my babies have been sick on and off the beginning of July pretty much. It was horrible. I've received comments saying your babies look miserable, your babies look sad, and I addressed that. I didn't want to say anything about their sickness because I felt like I just felt like they'll be fine. And then fast forward to almost end of July, one of my sons was really sick, and I took him to the doctor, to the doctor's office, and they did give him medicine, but they didn't do a thorough check. And that's one thing that I was so disappointed with. That's the thing, if you take your child in my country, if you take your child to the free hospital, they don't do thorough checks. So I take my baby there and they just looked at him and they gave him medicine. And then the baby was feeling a little better, but after the antibiotic, because they gave him antibiotic even without checking if it was bacteria or virus, which I was disappointed with. And after the 7 days of the prescribed antibiotic, my baby felt fine for 1 day. After 1 day, the sickness came full blown. It was so bad. And I was freaking out. I take him back to the doctor. This time they did checks, but not thorough check. They didn't do any blood checks, but they check. I said, because I was suspecting ear infection, I said, Doctor, I think the baby has ear infection. And the doctors checked, the ear was fine. And then they went to an x-ray and they found something in the lungs because of this cold has developed into many more complications. But the thing is that they didn't do blood check. So they just diagnosed him based on what they saw from the x-ray. And guys, a day after they prescribed antibiotic, my baby got worse. He could not breathe well. I started crying. I started freaking out. Like, as to see me, like I was just like crying. It was the most scariest time in my life ever at that moment. And it made me really feel like I'm a parent. That moment, there are two moments in my life that really made me realize what being a parent is like. The first one is when I was having preterm labor and the doctor told me that if they come this time now, they're not gonna survive. I was 23 weeks then, and that time I lost it. Like usually I don't like crying in front of people, but at that moment, I just broke down in front of the doctor and my husband because I was just like, wow, this is crazy. And then the other moment is when my son was that sick and I was losing it. And we decided to take him to the private hospital. And with the private hospital, because we don't have medical insurance there, we had to do self-pay, and it was very expensive. But it's not about money. I didn't care. I was like, well, if we have to get in debt, let's get in debt. My baby has to be fine. So we take him to the private hospital. Immediately, he's taken to the ER, and then the doctor does a very big thorough check. it takes the first thing was the x-ray and the blood count. The x-ray came and both lungs were now infected, and then he takes x-ray and the blood work, and there was problem with the blood work, and then he asked me, why didn't you take the child earlier? So I tried to explain. He was like, okay, this child need an emergency. And then fast forward, we're taken into it's called high care. There's ICU and there's high care. So that's where no one is allowed to visit except only the father and the mother. And then they did that, and then they tried to do treatments and all that stuff. And he was on oxygen for 2 days. He was on oxygen for 2 days because he could not breathe. And then he just like started like getting better and getting better and better and better, and then we were released from the hospital. So my husband came because as these babies have been getting sick and we're not getting better, if you guys have been watching my videos, you know for sure that I was saying that I'm going to stay in America, in Botswana for 5 months, because the goal was that I'm going to leave Botswana when my babies are talking, my babies are walking, my babies are more independent. But only one baby is talking and only one baby is more independent, which is Joshua. You guys know that Joshua is talking now, Joshua is walking, Joshua is doing all that. But Caleb, on the other hand, is not yet walking, and is not yet he's talking. Caleb is talking with Joshua, but Joshua, I can hear him more than I can hear Caleb. So that tells me that Caleb still has some time. But my husband had to go to America, to Botswana, to go and get us so that they can come to the weather that they know, because here there's air conditioner in America, because here I'm back in America. I'm trying to explain the events of Botswana. So we had to come to Botswana urgently, and we had to buy tickets with no thinking and everything like that fast, and we had to have our plans changed drastically because of the sick baby. And now the baby is recovered. You guys will see in my next vlog, maybe the vlogs of next week, that the babies are now recovered and they are playing very well, and now they are happy. To people that were saying that babies are always miserable, which I don't know what they're talking about. But yeah, for the month of July they were miserable, but I didn't want to explain as to why they were really not feeling like happy, because I just want to keep that part of the doctors private, just because a lot of people have opinions. A lot of people say that you should do this, you should do this. So I just feel like I just need to keep that part confidential to avoid having a lot of conflicting advice. So I do take my babies to the hospital, yes, and it was a hard time. So yeah, now let's continue with the rest of the vlog. I just wanted to explain this part so that you guys don't ask yourself like, why did she miss vlogs? Why did she not post, reply to our DMs? Yeah, family comes first, guys. YouTube is just something that when the family is in trouble, you leave and you just need to deal with the family. And I couldn't, because I was miserable. I was crying all the time. My eyes were just puffy. Like, you don't want to look at me when I'm puffy like that. It was the hardest thing ever. And I thank God for people that noticed that my babies were sick and they were just like hoping that they'll be fine. Because someone commented in my previous video and say, I don't think the babies have recovered. Yes, after that it went downhill. The babies were better after the great meat video. They were better. After the great meet and video, it went downhill and it was miserable, guys. And to parents out there, yes, if there's anything that I could cancel about being a parent, is having a sick baby. It's the worst thing ever. And I prayed to God at that time. I said, God, please give me this sickness. Because had I gotten the sickness instead of the baby, I would have at least explained what was going on. That means that my baby has been having this pain for a long time, but he could not explain it. And then even the public hospital could not fix it. So I had to take him to the private hospital for it to be fixed. And yeah, that was the time that I really wished that I was in America, because in America we have a good doctor. Not that we don't have a good doctor in Botswana, don't get me wrong. Of course, I got very good care in my private hospital, but I'm saying that I believe that here the doctor of the babies would have done a thorough check, because that baby was lethargic, and when he started losing his breath, it shows that he's been lethargic and sick for a very long time, which was for 2 weeks, because I started taking the children to the serious care for 3 weeks before he could just show that, okay, I cannot deal with this, mama. This is worse than what you can imagine. And I'm thankful to God because I was praying non-stop. And guys, being a mom is not a fun thing.